So what's up with this rumor about Kevin Durant and the Spurs?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're in the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kens 5 San Antonio. Glad to have you all back. And happy Tuesday, everybody. If you had yesterday off, hope you all enjoyed it and got some nice R&R as your work week is about to start. But as always, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kens 5 Plus app, YouTube. You know where to go. Locked On Spurs newsletter to the description below. Click on that link. It says LO Spurs newsletter. It's completely free. Hit your email inbox every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. So, what are we talking about today? Well, they're just, caught, I guess, lost in the whole NBA All-Star weekend was this report via Sam Amico, regarding the potential, the future of Kevin Durant. And apparently, their sources say that the Spurs and several other teams are going to pursue KD in a trade this offseason. We're going to talk about that and then dive into your comments. Locked On Spurs news, comments left on the Locked On Spurs YouTube. As you can tell, I'm still sick, so unfortunately I had to go video this one. I'm just too congested. Really shouldn't be on camera. You can hear again, hasn't cleared yet, so hopefully I'll feel better. But yeah, let's dive into it. Let's go to bring in our guest, Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Rudy, what's up?
What's up, man? Hope you feel better soon, because I know it's a lot of that stuff is going around right now.
Well, the thing about it is I got it so fast. There was no buildup. There was no, let's start off with this symptom, then this symptom. It was just, all right, you're sick. That was it. There was nothing. So I got caught off guard, but I'm coming down on
not being a PR star yet.
I know, right? I've had a whole freaking press conference about that, but yeah. I mean, I'm getting better. It's just this. We're recording this in the mornings. You know the cycle of a cold. Mornings bad, afternoons, early evening good, nights bad. I'm in that morning phase. I'm trying to get over that. But Rudy, we thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, hopping on here on Locked On Spurs. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. Let's go ahead and dive into it. So there was this report via hoopswire.com, and Sam Amico, he put it out there on X. It says source: Spurs, Rockets, Lakers, Heat to pursue Kevin Durant in a trade in off season. Gonna read a little bit of this report. It says the San Antonio Spurs, Houston Rockets, Lakers, and Miami Heat will pursue a Kevin Durant trade this offseason, an NBA source told HoopsWire. There you have it. He continues to point out that ESPN's Windhorse believes Durant will probably get traded by the Suns this summer. And I think the Suns, there was kind of rumbling this past trade deadline that he was going to get dealt. Didn't happen. But considering the Spurs are in a rebuild, there's some fans say, yeah, bring him on. That's really going to help out Wemby and get his track going even further and the Spurs further. Let's start off with this one. Are you buying or selling this?
I am actually buying the fact that the Spurs are interested in Kevin Durant. I mean, that's kind of an ideal thing for them. They've got a lot of cap room that they can work with in the offseason. They've got a lot of draft picks in case they got to make a trade for Kevin Durant. They've also got young pieces that they can move, like Kelvin Johnson, to make the money work for Kevin Durant. So I'm buying the fact that the Spurs are all in on trying to get Kevin Durant. I'm selling the fact of Kevin Durant possibly being a Spur only because I feel that if he wants to win right away, there's a couple of other teams where he may get that opportunity outside of him.
Well, first of all, I'm selling as far as a deal coming to. I agree with you. Sure, Spurs are going to do their homework. They're going to inquire about KD. It's natural. That's what you're paying Brian Wright to do. But ultimately, I'm going to sell that it happened. And my biggest selling point, and you brought it up, and dive into it, is his age. He's 37 years old. His clock is ticking. His NBA clock is ticking. And if he wants to go out with a title, it can happen in San Antonio. Even if he teams up with Castle and Wemby and himself, that trio, still not gonna be enough to get past, the Western Conference, let alone get into the NBA Finals. So I don't think that's probably in his vision. So I can definitely see him latching on to a new ring chasing again, right? I mean, that's his thing. Goes off with Golden State and probably do it again. But his window is closing. And even though, we point out his age, he's still putting up good numbers, all things considered. Look at what he's doing this season. 27.3 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 53% shooting from the field, 40% from the three, 82% from the free throw line. And also, too, another selling point I have, Rudy, is there's only one ball. That's it. And that ball's going to go to Wemby. And who knows where Castle is heading into next season. But if he's budding to the star that we all see him becoming, plays will be called for him. I just think from Kevin Durant's point of view, as much as it'd be great to team up with Wemby, I don't think it will probably behoove him in this phase of his career. Your thoughts?
I agree with that part about him, it behooving him being a part of his career, joining the Spurs. Here's the other problem you got to look at too, is you're going to have Fox on a max deal. You're about ready to max out Wemby on his next contract. You're going to have to save money for Stephon Castle. So say KD gets a 3-year deal, he's not going to sign for very minimal money. So you're going to have 3 large contracts with Stephon Castle coming in right away, which means you got to get rid of some assets. But one thing that a lot of fans hate are those draft picks. Well, this is where those draft picks make a lot of sense because you're going to have to draft kids to fill out that bench area if you're going to sign another guy to another max deal per se with Kevin Durant. It makes a lot of sense for him to join. I mean, you're talking about a starting lineup of Wemby, Durant, Harrison Barnes, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox. That alone is a good enough team to get into the playoffs and to compete in the Western Conference. But like you mentioned, KD at 37 years old probably has a good 3 to 4 years left before he may consider retirement. I think there's other places to go that he can be more successful, probably in the Eastern Conference. But a team out west is like the Houston Rockets. They're young enough to compete. They've got great pieces, but also a possible return to, I hate to say it, but a possible return to Oklahoma City is another chance because they've got the same amount of assets, same amount of cap room, if not more than the San Antonio Spurs.
Absolutely. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. And, we're going to take a break. When we get back, let's continue this chat with Rudy. Should the Spurs even make it? Make it happen? Let's just play the what if games into the Marvel universe and play what if. We're going to do that. By the way, Rudy loves playing that game, Sweep the League. They love diving into those meta alternate universes. So we're going to do that. Coming up next right here on Locked On Spurs with the Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. First, let's talk about TurboTax.
This is a message from sponsor Intuit TurboTax. Taxes was waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get any money back. And then waiting, wondering, and worrying some more. Now Taxes is matching with an TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return while you get real-time updates on their progress so you can focus on your day. An expert who will find you every deduction possible, file every form, every investment, and everything with 100% accuracy. Or you can get that money back, the most money back, guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. Now this is Taxes. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
I am Megatron. Do not fail me and subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. Check out his show on YouTube as well. By the way, we had a interesting discussion yesterday. I don't know if you chimed in, but would the Universal movie Hulk, would that Hulk have given Thanos business in Infinity?
Universal Data? Is that Eric Data?
No, that was oh good lord, escapes my mind right now. That was with Liv Tyler.
Okay,
Edward Norton. Yes, thank you.
So I'll say this: Edward Norton's Hulk, probably the most intimidating out of the three, which is Dana Norton and Ruffalo. Ruffalo just doesn't fit the Hulk persona. So I would say Edward Norton's Hulk against Thanos probably gives him the business. Still loses, but probably still gives him the business, at least a little bit better than what Ruffalo's did.
I think it just comes down to Thanos is trained. He's just trained. And no matter what Hulk you get, it's just all rage and anger.
Yeah.
It comes down to that. All right, the nerd segment of Locked On Spurs is over. We're going to continue talking about Kevin Durant, rumor, him coming to the Spurs via trade. Yeah, that's what HoopsWire is reporting. So let's enter the what ifs. This is around the Marvel thing, I guess. Let's enter the what if, and let's play what if. What if the Spurs make it? Now, you kind of alluded that the team becomes an automatic playoff team.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't push the team into the NBA Finals or the Western Conference Finals, but they give talk about giving the business. They give teams the business. That's for sure.
Mhm.
So I know that's your point. My point that even though you bring in KD in this alternate reality right now, I still don't think it's enough because there's again, I go back to one ball. You got Fox, Wemby, Castle, and then what if they draft somebody? How does that fit into everything? Is that person going to be now in the G League? Are you going to put a top 5, top 10 player in the G League? You have to give him minutes. I think if it's a trade, as the report says, then you're going to have to gut the roster and you have to bring in a lot of role players and they're going to have to mesh in quickly. I think they were a good team. I think maybe semifinals at best. They're definitely not a playing team, but I don't feel like he really pushes the needle to, instant contender overnight. Your thoughts?
So I think he does. He does move the needle for me, but it's not as far as a lot of people may think. Everybody thinks instantly Kevin Durant. Multiple time NBA champion. I think he's a 2-time Finals MVP. If I'm not mistaken. No, is he? I got to remember that. I know he's the Finals MVP at least in one. But the thing with Kevin Durant is he moves the needle for the Spurs, puts him in the playoffs. And you said semifinals. I kind of agree with that. He could probably get to the Western Conference semis, maybe the Western Conference finals. I don't see them getting above the hump, but you're right. You got to gut the entire roster. Look at this, Spurs fans. You got to look at this if you pull the curtain back. The fact that look at the team already assembled. I know Fox has got there, but look at the team already assembled. You added a couple of veteran pieces, but you still have a lot of reserves who don't fit the system in itself.
Right.
It shows by their record. They've only got 23 wins on the season. You were thinking, Chris Paul coming in, Harrison Barnes, we're a 40-win plus team. We're a 42-win team. It hasn't shown that. You added De'Aaron Fox, and it's going to get time for him to still get acclimated to the team.
Yeah.
But you're still not at the 40-win team. So Kevin Durant puts you at the 40-plus win column. Doesn't mean you're an NBA contender just yet. Getting the roster, Jack, man, it's going to have to happen. So
yeah, it is.
You're already getting rid of a guy. Don't kill me, Spurs fans, but you're already getting rid of a bad group of guys like Sohan and Keldon and Devin, and not in a bad way, but guys that don't fit the roster that you're giving them away. So who are you replacing them with? Maybe Champagne, Blake Wesley, Malachi Branham, guys that are not quite at their level. So you're going to have to bring in guys that fit the system, which is very difficult for San Antonio to do already for one player. If you're going to throw the bag at a player, I've said it before, I'll say it again. And again, I remember on Lockdown, I told you 2025, December 2025 is where we're going to see big changes. And that was Fox, but that already happened. So next season, we're going to see a little bit better. But you throw the bag at a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. You throw the bag at, guys like that. I've even heard rumors of Jaylen Brown possibly, being out there. Boston doesn't win this year. So there's other players you want to throw at that are younger that could be more versatile, more fitting of the Spurs system than just Kevin Durant. But if it happens, Western Conference Finals, I think I'd bet.
Wow. Another thing too is that where in this phase of his career, he really hasn't made an impact. I mean, he's almost, 30 men already. Played with the Thunder, obviously, the Warriors, the Nets, now the Suns. If he leaves again, that could be the Spurs or the report mentioned the Rockets, a couple other teams too, Lakers as well. But he really hasn't, the Suns would be this mighty team. Look, they added Kevin Durant and Booker and Beal. And what is that team? What hasn't done anything? So, there's that. And, you talk about his price tag, next season, he's set to make $54.7 million, the final year of his contract. I think if that's the case, then he might be a rental. I mean, do you really want to rent a KD in this rebuild, only be sent back again because you gutted the roster? And, Phoenix is probably going to want some of those draft picks already. They're going to want the ATL picks. Yeah, they're going to want a bag. They're going to want a haul. I just think where Durant is in his career, his age, and I'm not taking anything away from that. It's just where the Spurs are at in their rebuild. I think the type of player that should be aiming for is like a De'Aaron Fox in that age range, still young, just entering their prime. And Durant putting up good numbers, but he's exiting his prime years already, so he'll likely be gone soon from the NBA. So this what if world, I just think, I think it might, if you put things on a weight scale, where does it tilt? I think it tilts towards more cons than pros. But here's something interesting though. here's something interesting for you though. Do if let's just, okay, we're just playing what if now. What if Pop comes back? Do you think that might change something for Durant? Do you think he'd be willing to maybe not take an extension? Because right now that's still in limbo. Is it whether he's going to come back full time or just to say adios, or yep, I'm back next season coaching, so another 2 more years. You think that makes a change in things?
Man, that's a good one because I think Pop coaching plays a huge factor on who the Spurs can get in. I don't think players are
Yeah.
rushing in to play for Mitch Johnson. I think they're rushing in to play for Wemby or with
Yeah.
Wemby. But if Coach Pop comes back, that would be a huge benefit. But I will say this, even under Coach Pop, you saw a team struggle and
Sure.
you've seen it happen. Even
Yeah,
with
they
Wemby
missed the
there.
playoffs how long already?
Yeah, it's been a while. And again, I understand that, you don't have the player personnel. You got Wemby now. Seeing what Pop can do if he comes back this season with De'Aaron Fox and Wemby, maybe that'll be enough of a window to say, okay, they can make it work. But it's hard to say. I think, to be honest, when it comes to Pop, I really think he may come back and coach this year and then kind of hang it up. That's kind of my ideal. And it's who you bring in. Do you bring in a Mike Brown who's still out there? Do you go
Yeah.
after another type of coach
Yeah,
that,
man.
a player
Imagine Mike
coach?
Brown and Fox reunited.
I really think, honestly, I really would put some money on that. I really like the idea of Mike Brown coming back to San Antonio and coaching. I mean, the guy has been the NBA Finals Coach of the Year. I mean, he's been successful just about everywhere he's gone. That would be a match made in heaven right now for the San Antonio Spurs. But I think Pop coming back helps a little bit. I just don't know if it's enough to say, okay, KD's coming. Okay, this guy's coming. This guy's coming. Let me give you one last dream team effort
Yeah.
to get an NBA championship. I don't think it's that. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference.
Right. It's not the first time the Spurs reportedly chased Durant. Remember a few years ago where the Spurs
yeah.
met him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not the first time. So this is not too surprising that a report of the Spurs chasing Durant allegedly, and this Hoops Wire report is true. So we can, the Spurs have had Durant on their radar, at least according to multiple reports from the past to now. But all in all, yeah, I think if you look at the landscape, you likely go east. I think if I look at the teams involved, reportedly Rockets, Lakers, Heat, Spurs, I'm looking at the Heat. I think I could definitely see them.
Don't leave out. And I'm going to throw 2 teams out in the East. One of them, actually 3. One of them is Washington. He was born in Washington. I mean, I know they suck, but I mean, just going to play home in front of your family, that's something that a lot of players want to do. The 2 teams to watch out for, and they're 2 big teams. Actually, you can name the third one too. One being Cleveland. And Cleveland has a lot of assets. They could move back to Phoenix.
That's
But
true. Yeah.
don't forget about Boston being another one, because Jaylen Brown could be moved for Kevin Durant. That would ideally make something for Boston, kind of move Tatum and Durant. They kind of interchangeable there. But also, don't forget about the Knicks, man, playing in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are up and rising team. They can make a move for Kevin Durant. And, you may have a Brunson, Durant, Karl-Anthony Towns type of thing. You're probably giving up OG Anunoby and maybe some draft picks. But that right there is another team that could potentially make a move for Kevin Durant. I agree with you. I think he goes out east because he's been in the Western Conference, the exception of Brooklyn. Didn't have a really good time in Brooklyn either. But I think those are 2 teams you can look at.
Yeah, we'll see what the future of Kevin Durant holds. Could it be San Antonio? At least according to this report, they're in the mix, but we shall see. Again, the season's, yes, it's winding down already, but obviously fun. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Hey, we're not done talking. When we get back, we're going to look at some of your comments left on the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. We're going to address those. Just a few minutes. Shocker, a lot of them about the All-Star game. So let's see what you guys had to say over here at Locked On Spurs. Well, first, let's talk about Hungry Root.
When it comes to grocery shopping and meal planning, I've had this ongoing problem. I just don't have time. Between work, life, and trying to eat healthier, I was constantly feeling stressed out. I'd go to the grocery store, buy things I didn't need, then end up with no time to actually cook. And sticking to my health goals, that was a struggle too. But everything has changed when I discovered Hungry Root. Honestly, it's been a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. With Hungry Root, it's like having a personal shopper and nutritionist all in one. They take care of my grocery shopping, recommending meals, groceries based on my taste, health goals, from anti-inflammatory to high-protein, gluten-free options. And the best part, every meal is ready within 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great, all delivered straight to my door. It's been a huge time saver and has made healthy eating so much simpler. You're going to love Hungry Root as much as I do. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. Just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA. Code LockedOnNBA. Do not miss out.
Hey, this is Hot Rod.
And I'm RC from the San Antonio Spurs.
And you're listening to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Follow him on X at Sweep the League. Hey, Rudy, I heard you turned down the role originally for Johnny Lawrence in the original Karate Kid. Why'd you do that?
Well, honestly, Jeff, I thought it was below me. I didn't think it was a role that would pay really well or, get me anywhere. And boy, I was wrong. I ended up taking on American Ninja 5.
Went straight to video, I think. Straight to video.
I don't even know it went straight to video.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't know. Only, yeah. All right. Now it's time to talk about you guys, Locked On Spurs fans. You guys don't even know how to comments. Locked On Spurs YouTube page. There we go. Make sure to subscribe. Again, please go to youtube.com, search Locked On Spurs, subscribe button. So let's see what you guys are talking about. And as I said earlier, a lot of the All-Star break weekend game itself. And shocker, talking about the dunk contest. Now, kudos to Castle. He did, go to the finals. He technically pushed McClung to having to score 50s, in his final two dunks. So, with that being said, the first comment is from Real N Senpai. There we go. He says, Castle, got beat by a guy that uses people to boost jumps. All fake, and Mac got 50. That's been a real topic of late. Castle didn't use any props in his dunks, while McClung did. Now, after the game, or the event, Castle did say that, the judges do give some sway to quote-unquote creativity, and he felt that, they just gave it a Mac. Where do you land on this? Do you think Castle was robbed?
Lee, I would say, yeah. I'm on the side of Stephon Castle getting robbed. You know what? Props have been a part of the dunk contest for so many years already that it's kind of getting old. I mean, the dunk contest already itself is old. I mean, at one time, Sean Elliott was supposed to dunk in the dunk contest with a boa constrictor, if you remember.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
old guys out there like that. But I think Castle won, and his creativity was really, really good. Through the layup and then between the leg.
Yeah.
Very difficult dunk, more difficult than what McClung had to do. I feel that was that was the most difficult dunk that anyone had to do that night, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, Steph won, and I know creativity is a big role for a lot of the dunk contest. I think that what they need to do is just get rid of props in general. I mean, if you're a true dunker, if you're a dunker, you're dunking in the NBA, you're dunking in high school, you're not rolling out a car during an NBA game, dunk over it. You're not asking, your teammate, hey, jump in front of me so I can dunk over you during an NBA game. It's real NBA dunk, and between the leg and all that stuff, that's fine. But as long as you don't have a prop or anything.
Now, I do commend Castle for doing everything without props, but I think it would have behooved him to maybe have a couple that involve props just in case, because if he studied film, that's how McClung has been winning with props. It's jumping over cars we saw this past week, and it's jumping over a certain person. It's doing this and doing that, and wearing a high school jersey. So I think he maybe should have had a couple of those when he saw that it was going to the finals. Maybe just bring him out, pressure on. But I think that Castle did get robbed. I mean, he had more creativity without props.
I'll tell you what.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I do blame that one YouTuber voter that got on that panel. He screwed Castle so bad. Everybody else gave him a 50s. That little YouTuber kid gave him a 49, and that's what did him in.
Yeah, I'll say this much about props is I don't really like it because the likelihood, and it's very possible you could get an injury using a prop. And especially if you're, a rookie for the Spurs.
Yeah,
your management and coach staff, you're probably like, I don't really want you to jump over a car. I don't really want you to, try to dunk over a guy that's on a, what do you call the rover or whatever you call those? I don't know what they call those. Because if you get an injury and it's say it's a knee injury or something that lingers, I mean, now you're putting your career in jeopardy. So I'm really totally against props. McClung, I mean, he's a G leaguer. He's not really been in the NBA at all. So that's fine. Do whatever you want. But if you're an NBA player, you're valuable to your team. That's where I think props need to be, taken out of the equation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think somebody mentioned on X that maybe it'll stop when somebody gets hurt. Unfortunately, I think that's what happens. Somebody's going to trip on something and break an ankle. Yeah. Nope. No more props. Got to go back to the old school ways. Now, think about this too. Castle doing it old school style with no props. He even said after the All-Star game that he wishes the All-Star game itself will go back to the East-West.
I agree. It's bad already. Why change it? You go back to the old way.
But then you look at Wemby. Wemby after the game, he's all like, "No, I love it." So it's kind of getting a mixed bag. Shea Gilgeous, he said that he liked it. I guess it did add a little bit more competitiveness. I'll give it that. But that final game was just trash. It was 11-1 to start the game.
Yeah. Why change it if you changed it? And I agree with you what you said. It was more defensively because you want to win to move on. But why not show that same defense intensity in the regular East versus West game? I mean, what makes it so difficult to understand? And I blame, a lot of the players that are getting older and getting ready to retire.
Yeah.
I blame a lot of them for why the All-Star game is just trash.
All right, let's continue with our comments here at Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Subscribe to it right now. Check this one out, Rudy. I think you're going to like this one. This is from James Magnum 525. 5025. There we go. So he says, here from Locked On Mavs, looking for a new home. I have always respected the Spurs, especially Pop. What's it like being a Spurs fan? Welcome to the Locked On Spurs ship, and welcome to Spurs fandom. James 525. Man, Mavs are going through it, aren't they, man? They really are.
They really are. And I mean, golly, I'm probably one of the few guys that ever will defend trades left and right. I understand why they did it, and I totally get it. I feel like, hey, you lost a generational talent. That's the first time we've ever seen a generational talent be traded.
Yep.
Not the first time we've seen a generational talent being passed up in the draft, Michael Jordan. I mean, there's a lot of different times that things have happened, but at the same time, let the season play out. I would say let it play out, because if you really think about it, Jeff, look at the numbers. You're not locked on Mavs, you're locked on Spurs. But
yeah,
if you look at the numbers, why is it that the Mavs play better when Luke is not in the lineup?
Interesting. Yep.
I mean, it's there in black and white. It shows it there. So they obviously see something that a lot of people don't. A lot of people that do analysts, they see stuff too. I get it, man. You got nothing in return for Lucas from what you said, but actually you got a good amount in return. And the Christie and Anthony Davis, I know he's hurt, but I would say let the season play out. Don't fire this person. Don't chant whatever. Everybody's passionate. Yes, I get it, but let the season play out. That's all I got.
Yeah, Mavs fans are hurting, man. They are hurting. Their season is done. Well, I mean
it's not done. They're in the playoffs, I think, or play in at least minimum right now.
Wait, but I think it's going to catch up to them. They don't have Anthony Davis for a while. They lost him with Gafford. I think it was Gafford who went down.
They lost Gafford. They have Lively in Washington still. I mean, they lost Gafford.
So it's just bad times. The fans are rioting, revolting. I don't like how the Mavs are handling business with fans voicing their opinion at games. I think that's trash. How do you throw them out? All because they're saying fire Nico? And that's ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. If they're throwing stuff in the court, fine. Causing fights, fine. Charging at Nico if he's there, definitely. But for them just say fire Nico, that video of a guy just mouthing the word fire Nico, he got thrown out. I don't like how the Mavs are handling that whole, it's like that phrase from Star Wars episode 4. What does Princess Leia tell Tarkin? The more you close your grip, more planets are going to go to the right through your finger. Same thing here. The more the Mavericks are closing their grip on the fans, they're going to start losing fans left and right. So
they are. I don't agree with that at all. I do agree with you that it's terrible to throw fans out for voicing their opinion. I mean, but again, it's the era we live in. It's the soft era, when it comes to NBA basketball. You pay so much money for a ticket. It doesn't give you the right to be disruptive, but they shouldn't take your voice away if you're really pissed off. That's what I'm saying. I mean, imagine Jordan. I mean, he used to get heckled all the time. Guys used to get heckled in San Antonio. Larry Brown got, avocado, guacamole thrown all over the head on the tunnel. I mean, baseline bump. Shout out to them. part of the game, but there's lines you don't cross. Like calling out for fire Nico, Mav suck, whatever. That's not a line that, that's nothing right there. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. And James Mangum, 525. What's it like being a Spurs fan? It's fun, but I would be careful if you're going on X. Just be careful what you say on X. He is Rudy Campos of Sweep the League. Tell us what's going on with Sweep.
Sweep's actually kind of off and on right now. We normally come to you Tuesday through Friday at 9 p.m. I was sick last week, so making up for episodes this week, but we're gearing up for our NFL drafts coverage. A lot of NFL mock drafts are coming up. We're doing a 7-round by team, so be on the lookout for that. And also, of course, we've got more shows coming this week as well. Myself, hopefully Derek, because everything's fixed with his phone, and then of course Gio's back on the show now. So we're just rocking and rolling over at Sweep.
There you go. Go on YouTube, search for Sweep the League. Subscribe to that right now. Rudy, we always thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Locked On Spurs. Everybody else, we thank you as well for subscribing to Locked On Spurs, whether that be on Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, the Locked On Spurs newsletter available right now. If you're on YouTube, there's a link below in the description. Click on that link. It says Hello Spurs newsletter, completely free. Hits your email inbox every single day. We'll be back tomorrow talking all things silver and black. Yeah, the Spurs are still off, so we've got a few more days to kind of just shoot the bleep, if you know what I mean, that and more, until the Spurs resume play this Thursday out in Austin. The Suns. And it's ironic, it's Kevin Durant night. So there you go. But for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.